So this is Throne Runner here, aka Shamar. Always gotta say it this way for my buddy Joe. As you can see, I'm joined here, or maybe you don't know his face yet, but I'm joined here by Joe from Cincinnati, who I had the pleasure of finally meeting in person
There you
at
go.
GenCon. We probably spent more time making jokes and laughing than we did actually talking Thrones and doing all that stuff. But I think he can agree that we did have a fantastic time nonetheless.
Yeah, I mean, talking Thrones, you can only talk so much before I just start spiraling into Lannister hate. So we tried to curtail that a little bit. We just talked about random stuff. But yeah, I mean, the tournament was on Thursday, and I checked in with Shamar after each round because I was most interested in seeing how he's doing, and then I just continued to follow him around for all of Thursday and Friday. And then I met back up with him on Saturday night, and I followed him around on Saturday night as well. So we got a lot of time together, just hanging out. And on Saturday night, we actually ended up playing a couple games, or I played him one time, and then we were playing with a couple of his friends. His friend Kenny, who owns a store in, was it Singapore?
I believe so.
Yeah. So he came in for Gen Con, and they're both Greyjoy players. So I played Shamar in one game.
It was the most fun game ever. I've never had so much fun playing Game of Thrones in my life. It was awesome.
the the look on his face was pretty much priceless. He just looks so angry because, as some of you may know, I don't know if anyone actually follows me in anything I do, but I post all my decks. I bet a bunch of my decks on Thrones DB, and the one that I follow the most, and the one that I've really been focusing on for the last 3 or 4 months now, really, has been Night's Watch Fealty. And that deck, I built it kind of as a Voltron around Old Bear. So it has 3 walls, 3 Old Bears, and 3 Old Bears Ravens. So I just play for that combo every single game. And when I was playing Shamar, I got the combo out. And I think I even had a Long Claw on him. I forget
You
what.
had the practice blade.
The practice blade on him, yeah.
Yeah.
So he was an 8 strength, non-kneeling Tricon with stuff. And Shamar, after the game, Shamar was like, "You're not actually playing the game. You just don't realize it yet."
Oh my god.
That's how uninteractive it is. So,
Yep.
yeah. So then, I played him one game, beat him obviously, and then his friend Kenny, who also plays Greyjoy, wanted to play my deck, and I remember we were walking to the hotel. I think it was either the West or the Hyatt that was connected to the convention center, and Shamar was saying like, "Yeah, this is Joe. He plays Night's Watch," and I remember Kenny saying like, "Ha, Night's Watch." Like, yeah, I play Night's Watch, and then we ended up playing either 3 or 4 games. I forget which, but out of however many games, I won them all except for the final one. The first game we played, I got the combo out, and he attributed all to luck. He's like, you got an all god and all world start. Let's play again so that we can see how your deck actually runs. It's like, well, it did the same thing because that's the way I designed it. And 3 or 4 games in, he finally beats me because he got Fish Whiskers out, and he got Balon and all of the fleet scouts that make him 11 strength when he's attacking, and I couldn't stop all that. So he finally beat me, and it's funny, he wanted to play again, but I had told my friends that I was hanging out with that night that I was going to be back after one game, and like 2.5 hours later, because we were going to play Scythe, that new Euro game that came out at GenCon. But 3 hours later, I just went back to them, and they're like, "Yeah, we stopped waiting for you. We just played." So
Yeah, we ended up taking a little bit longer than we expected because we went up to the bar first and we had a drink and played, and then the bar closed. We went downstairs in the lobby of the hotel and we were playing there, and even my friends showed up and they were like, "I thought you guys were gonna be done already," so they're playing Go Cuckoo in the corner. Like, it was pretty funny. It was actually really, really funny. But at the end of all of that, Joe came up with the idea that we should try to collaborate on something and make, I guess, some sort of post together. And what we decided on doing was a pack review for Call to Arms. However, I don't really like the typical pack review where you go over every card and it takes 2 hours and you're like discussing every card in detail. What we're gonna do is, obviously he's a Night's Watch player. I play Greyjoy for the most part. So we're gonna try to focus more so on the 4 cards that were released for those 2 factions or houses, plus talk a little bit about the new agendas that were released and how that might change the style of play for our 2 decks and maybe potentially some other decks that we like to dabble in. So I don't know if you have anything else to add, Joe, before we start.
I think we're still going to go over the other cards real quick, but we're not going to pay too much attention to them. There aren't even really that many great cards for other factions anyway, so we're gonna just go over every card real quick. But yeah, the focus is going to be on Night's Watch and Greyjoy.
Yeah, some of these cards are pretty laugh-worthy, so it really shouldn't take too long. So we've got number 1, and this is going to be my visual cue. So number 1, we've got Danella Horn. Reduce the cost of the first loyal card you marshal or play each round by 1. She's a 4-cost intrigue and power icon with 3 strength. I was saying that I really think that it would be fun to try this card in a Greyjoy Banner to the Wolf. It's something that I'd been discussing with a buddy from my meta, Paul, who thought that that type of deck would have some legs. And I think this card is definitely one that could help out in that matchup. I don't know what you think, Joe.
Well, I guess it all depends on how many loyal cards you're actually running. I mean, obviously with fealty decks, you're going to be running a lot of loyal cards. But in a Greyjoy Banner of the Wolf deck, I don't know. You have Balon and you have I don't even really know the loyal.
You're on
Greyjoy cards. You're on We Do Not Sow.
Yeah. Great Kraken.
So you're gonna have some cards in there, and she could be a good just little burst of economy that's also an intrigue icon and power icon, I suppose. And she doesn't get bumped by First Snow of Winter. Mm-hmm. I still think it's going to be best in Stark Fealty, just because they have so many cards that they have plenty of fealty stuff anyway. So you get fealty plus her, so you can like reduce a loyal card by 2 every turn, or two loyal cards by 1 every turn. But yeah, I mean, I think it'll work fine as a banner. It is going to be funny that you're going to be running something for loyal cards in a banner deck, though, which is kind of funny. But you know, it probably will work out.
Hey, anything to get the new Eddard Stark out into your deck, and at the same time be able to reduce your own characters, I think should be pretty great.
Yeah, I mean, Eddard is just so good. He's almost worth the Banner of the Wolf all by himself. I mean, Martell Banner of the Wolf got to the finals, right? I mean, on the back of those great Stark cards that are on loyal. So, yeah, I think it'll work out. I mean, anytime that you can run Eddard, especially in a Greyjoy deck that's already rushy, so I think it'd be great.
I totally agree, and I'm excited to try it out. So we've got card number 2, which Joe's going to take care of.
It's Fear Cuts Deeper Than Swords. It's a Stark event, loyal, 2-cost, interrupt. When the effects of an ability that chooses a Stark character as its only target would initiate, cancel those effects and stand that character. So this card is difficult for me to rate or even determine if it's going to be great, because it has a very powerful effect, but then it has so many conditions to get to that effect. So, it first of all costs 2 gold, so it's pretty expensive. It is loyal, so you can reduce it with fealty, but it's still going to be 2 resources. It can only work when the target of whatever the ability is a Stark character. It only triggers when it's only 1 target, and it does have a stand at the end, which is nice. But those 3 conditions can make it really difficult to consistently use in a deck to make it worth actually running it. So what do you think, Shmar?
Well, we all know the whole ruling with cards like these and cards like Tears of Lease, for example. So it would be really unfortunate if especially a newer Stark player was hugging this card thinking, oh my god, my Eddard doesn't have an intrigue icon, tries to block a Tears of Lease with it, only to realize that the ruling says Tears does not count as a target. That would be very unfortunate.
And that's why when I was reading it, I laughed when I said chooses, because that's the word.
Yep.
That's choose the Stark character. Tears of List doesn't choose things for whatever reason. It just says place a token. Yeah. So it doesn't choose the target. It places a token on the target. Still, I think, and I've played a lot of games in my time. probably the stupidest ruling
Oh yeah.
that I've ever heard in my entire life.
Yep.
In terms of how cards interact. But this game, it goes by the word, and that's what happens when lawyers write the rules. So,
Yeah.
so Tears of the List is not affected by this card. This is probably the best use for it is stopping Tears of the List, but they can't do it. So, yeah, it could see a little bit of play, but I think it'll rotate out of people's decks after they test it a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna manage to beat out too many card slots. And I mean, being a Greyjoy player, have had to deal with this with the freaking Blessing of the Drowned God, which I thought was a godlike card, pun intended, until I realized just how crappy that ruling was. Kind of screwed everything over, made it almost useless to play. I mean, I know some people still make it work and do all that stuff, but the power level in that card dropped off very, very, a great deal, once that ruling was made.
Yeah. So, there's one little funny thing that I noticed about this card is that it doesn't say your start character. So if you're in a mirror match, which could happen because Stark is so popular, if they try and say save their Eddard with Jory when Eddard has 5 or 6 power on him, or 3 or 4 power on him, you can play this card and say, no, Jory, that ability's canceled. See, target Stark, only target, cancel those effects, but you get to stand Eddard before he dies.
This is true. So not to spend too much time on that. Moving forward, and it's funny that Joe was talking about cards needing too many conditions to fire. I think one house that has a lot of issues with that currently is Tyrell, which just so happens to be the next 2 cards that we discussed. So we've got here the Knight of Summer. Oh goodness. 4 strength, a military and a power icon. 4 cost, military power icon, and 3 strength. While there are more summer plot cards than winter plot cards revealed, Knight of Summer gets +2 strength and gains renown. So you can get him up to 5 strength and renown, which sounds fantastic for only $4. However, now you're relying on the flop of plots, and we know that Tyrell doesn't have an Old Nan, for example, to help sway that in their direction. So I see this as being a card that might be a little bit difficult to get that +2 and renown.
How many Theons do you run?
I run 2.
You run 2 Theons. So this guy is basically a more conditional version of Theon, right? So he doesn't even have stealth. So he's 4 for 3, military power icon. That's the same stats as Theon. He is a knight, so that's nice for Tyrell. But it depends on how many summer and winter plots there are. We have at least one winter plot that is going to be seeing play for a while still. It's for Snow of Winter. Mm-hmm. It's going to be in most aggro decks. So the fact, and then in addition, there's other winter plots that are great. All the several 2-claim plots are winter plots. So the chances of having more summer cards than winter cards, maybe half the time. Mm-hmm. I don't know. So maybe you get 2 or 3 renown on this guy, maybe. I'm not sure exactly how much you get on him. Oh, but then they ward him, and then you lose that power.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
So you're not going to want to put Lady Sansa's Rose on this guy if you're playing against Stark. Like I said, ward is a big thing for this guy because he's 4 costs. So I don't know. He might see the equivalent play as Theon. 1 to 2 cards in a deck. It depends, and only if you're winning summer plots. So Tyrell likes summer plots anyway because of Bitter Bridge encampment and things like that. So it could work, but I don't know. It's a very average card.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how people make that work. And even more so, this next card, which is easily the best card in the pack. Joe?
So it's kind of become my catchphrase when I say poor Tyrell. It's because I'm a Night's Watch player and I've seen bad cards released, but it's starting to become like Night's Watch is being overtaken by Tyrell in the terrible cards being released for them category. So here it is. There's my claim. It's a Tyrell event, 0 cost, non-oil. Play only during a challenge. Challenge's action. Reveal 4 Tyrell characters from your hand to raise the claim value on your revealed plot card by 1 until the end of the challenge. Max 1 per challenge. So just in case you have 2 pieces of this card in your hand. You can only do it once per challenge. They wanted to point that out very explicitly. So there are multiple problems with this card. First of all, it's 0 gold, so it's easy to cancel. And then you have first you have to reveal 4 cards from your hand. Those 4 cards have to be characters, and then you have to have this card in your hand. So that's 5 cards at the beginning of the challenges phase. And then if you're going second in the intrigue challenge, you can't do it anymore. So less than 5 cards in your hand, this card is a dead card. Imagine drawing this in turn 5 or 6 when you only have 2 cards in your hand. It is literally a dead draw. It's worse than a dead dupe. So I mean, God knows what this looked like before testing. Maybe FFG just completely ignored their testers, or maybe, who know, I don't even know what this was before this testing, but I can't imagine the testers did not tell FFG this was complete garbage. We'll see how it plays. I think that it's going to be non-existent. I mean, you do all this for 1 extra claim, and then your opponent says, "Oh, okay, those are your 4 cards in your hand. Okay, cool. Okay, hands judgment for free.
Yep.
Thanks for the free information about your hand. I'll heads up spikes next turn."
Oh man, what I think is funny is that this card drops and we see the Lions of Casterly Rock, how heavily based on intrigue all of those cards are, and like how they're trying to get this whole theme of emptying your opponent's hand to give you additional effects. So imagine running into one of those Lannister decks and you have this card in your deck and you're just like, well, there is absolutely 0 chance that I'm ever gonna be able to pop this off if I pull it. 1, 2, I gotta win the damn challenge on the board even before I want to raise that claim. So that's difficult in itself. But I can kind of see where they're going with this. Like maybe they're trying to make Queen of Thorns better because we know that she's probably the worst 7-drop in the game currently. So I think that's
pretty awful.
She's pretty bad, and I think that maybe they were trying to get people to make Tyrell character heavy decks and try to get some draw into them so that you can pull off cards like these. But I think this card is actually trash. And if you, for example, bought that new Harry Potter Cursed Sun or whatever, this would be a pretty sweet bookmark. A nice custom bookmark. No one else will have this one, so you got 3 of those to use for all of your books.
Unless you're a Tyrell player, because then every time you open your book, you look at this and you just fly into a mad rage.
True.
Like, why did they print this? Give us something to play. Why would they do this to us?
Oh man. All right, so we're into the Night's Watch section. I'll let Joe handle these cards because I know he's excited about both of these actually. So these 2 are on you, sir.
All right. The first one, Dolorous Edd or Craven?
Dolorous Edd.
All right, Dolorous Edd. He's a 3-cost intrigue icon, 3 strength. He's loyal, or he's non-loyal, but he's unique. He's a steward. This says action. During an intrigue challenge in which you are the Fang player, kneel your faction card to put Dolorous Edd into play from your hand. Knelt, participating as a defender. If you win the challenge, you may return him to your hand. So, I mean, I know that I'm biased, right? So I'm going to be excited about this card, but it's just so good in so many ways. First of all, you play him from your hand for free, essentially. You kneel your faction card. That only matters in Night's Watch fealty, because right now, for Night's Watch, the only cards that have a faction kneel are this card and Sir Alistair Thorne. Sir Alistair Thorne, you're running maybe 1 of them, maybe 2 if you're feeling bold, because it's so expensive to actually get the effect off. It's 4 gold plus an faction kneel, or 6 gold. Both are overpriced for what he does. So that you don't have much competition for the faction card kneel other than using it for fealty. So you're very easily going to have the ability to do it. In addition, if your opponent does a intrigue challenge that they base on your board, if you have 3 strength on the board and they do a 4 strength, you just kneel your faction card and you win that intrigue challenge, which is fantastic. I mean, getting with the wall out, you just get essentially a boost of 4 strength on an intrigue challenge by kneeling your faction card. And then at the end of it, you can return them to your hand, or you can leave them out. There's no must. You do what works for your board. So if your board is set up so that you don't need them and you can just keep doing it turn after turn, or you have it in your hand your opponent knows you have it in your hand, so they won't even do intrigue challenges unless they want to overcommit. And if they're not doing intrigue challenges, you're not losing him from your hand. So it's just the way that this card is designed is incredible. And then, in addition, this card makes Sir Alistair Thorne better because you can go into a challenges phase with 4 gold and your faction card unknelt. Normally, before this card and before Ari, your opponent would just like, oh, okay, I'm just not gonna declare a military challenge this round, and then you wasted 5 resources.
Yep.
But now they can't do an intrigue challenge either. Which one do you have? So you know, if you have 4 gold and your faction card unknelt, they can't declare a military challenge without you doing something. They can't declare an intrigue challenge without you doing something. And then worst case scenario, if you have Ari and they don't do anything, you're just like, oh, then I'll just play Ari now. 4 gold. So I mean, it works. These cards are working together so well. And I am so ecstatic about this card. What do you think?
I think, and if we jump ahead to the draft that I did, I think that this card, in conjunction with one of the new draft cards that were spoiled, where it's a Night's Watch location, it's 2 cost, and it counts on your side as 1 strength in any challenge. And then if you lose a challenge, it gets knelt. So now out of Night's Watch, if you're trying to get the wall popped off, you're able to basically sacrifice 2 challenges and really put yourself in on winning the last one, or make sure the last one doesn't go unopposed, so that you can get that wall power off. For example, if you're playing Joe's deck and maybe your Voltron isn't set up yet, Old Bear is still kneeling or whatever have you, I think this card, Dolorous Edd, and that new card, I can't remember the name of it, really
I think it's the Haunted Forest.
Haunted Forest, I think you're right. These 2 cards, allow you that time to get your deck set up and make sure that you do have the correct board presence at all times to kind of keep your opponent on their heels. So I think this card's going to be great. I know that this card is basically the exact same text as the 1.0 version of Catelyn Stark that everybody just called Jumping Cat, because it was essentially the exact same thing. She jumped from your hand for intrigue challenges. If you win, you can take her back to your hand, or leave her out on the board, as Joe said, which is also a good strategy depending on what your opponent's doing. So I know for a fact this card will see a lot of play. Even if it doesn't get used widespread by Night's Watch players, I expect to see it in Joe's deck. 6 copies.
At least 6 copies. If a Night's Watch player isn't playing this card, he's playing Night's Watch wrong. I mean, there's no downside. I mean, it doesn't cost you anything. And you know, normally I'm pissed off about 3 cost because it just gets bounced for First Snow of Winter. But if this card gets bounced on First Snow of Winter, okay. Yep. You know, if you want to do an intrigue challenge, he's coming back out, so it's your call. So they either don't do an intrigue challenge, or you get this guy out anyway, and it doesn't really matter. So, you know, obviously they could just do a military and kill one of your big guys and then not do an intrigue, but that's besides the point. This guy can come back out on First Snow of Winter, so there's no downside. I mean, it's just a great card.
Yeah, I think it's an awesome card. And so is this next one, which kind of makes me a little bit upset, this one here. Joe and I had a good laugh at this at GenCon as well. And Joe, I'll let you go ahead and explain this garbage.
All right. It's Craven. 1 cost, non-loyal Night's Watch attachment. It's a condition. It's terminal. Attached character cannot be declared as an attacker.
Oh my god.
So, quite simply, this card is unbelievable. I mean, not only in defensive decks, it's unbelievable in any deck. I mean, when you think about the characters that are out there, I mean, like, what are some cards that people hate seeing? They hate seeing Tyene. They hate seeing Miri. They hate seeing Balon.
Mountain.
They hate seeing the Mountain. They hate seeing, you know, Tywin, the Blackfish, Knight of Flowers. I mean, there's so many cards. There's so many cards that are built to attack. So in a lot of cases, this actually becomes better, or just as good, or better than the Milk of the Poppy. So if you milk Miri, she's still a 5 strength power intrigue icon that can attack you. Well, now she's essentially a blank 5 strength military or intrigue power icon that can't even attack you. So in those cases, same with Tyene. I mean, you spend 6 gold for Tyene, I pay 1 gold, and she is garbage. So she is complete garbage. So you put 3 of these in your deck, 3 milks. You have so much control over their character boards. it's crazy. I think this is going to be 3x in every single Night's Watch deck and Banner of the Watch deck until it cycles out. I don't see any reason not to.
Yep. When I saw this card, I immediately got pretty sad. Because there's already enough Balon hate that exists. I mean, my buddy Balon's strength isn't even that high. His base strength isn't that high to begin with. So, like, there's a lot of times where you can't get his ability to pop off. So now they drop this Craven on him, and he's supposed to be this big, badass Iron Islands dude who doesn't take no shit from anybody. And all of a sudden he's just like, ooh, I'm Craven. I don't want to fight anymore. I'm so sorry, guys. And he just sits on your board and does shit all. Not only that, but like Euron, Asha, for example. If Asha gets hit by this, my deck is screwed. Like I get more use out of Asha than I do out of Balon sometimes, because of just how efficient she is and the ability for her to stand and just keep harassing your opponent and then be able to defend afterwards. You drop a Craven on her and she's useless. Like, this card, I don't know why they felt that this was necessary. I mean, you've already got Old Bear who just defends everything and doesn't kneel. So who cares if you know, Craven doesn't exist and all my characters can attack, because he's going to defend everything anyways. This just makes it way too easy. Not only that, but yeah, it's terminal, and I mean, I could confiscate it, we do not sow it and get rid of it that way. But like, even those decks
how many unopposed challenges are you getting against the
exactly exactly. So it's just like, this is overkill to me. And then I know people are probably at home thinking, whatever, just play weapons at the door. Yeah, that's cool. Bounce all 3 back to his hand for 1 turn where I'm not going to win the game, and it's only $1, so he just spends 3 and drops them all again, and maybe throw some milks down too, and my whole board has been neutralized. And this is what I meant when I was telling Joe, like, you play against Night's Watch and you think that you're playing, but really he's playing by himself, and you're just like, I don't even know, just like throwing fucking phantom moves at him because you're not doing anything at all.
You're just along for the ride.
Yeah, you're just watching time tick down till you lose. And this just helps that.
You can tell Shamar loves my deck.
Oh my god.
I was playing against a Martell deck recently, and he opened, he got like Gaston Grey, which doesn't help him against me, and a couple other cards out on setup. But then his first turn, he played Trading with the Pentoshi. And then he did, I did Here to Serve, so I told him to go first. He paid 1 he paid 6 for Tyene and then 5 for Nymeria. And on my turn, I had 6 gold. I milked Nymeria and Craven Tyene. So with 2 gold, I made his 11 gold completely worthless.
Oh my goodness.
And it was fun. He wasn't happy.
I can imagine. I don't blame him at all.
He wasn't happy at all, but I was enjoying myself. So I think that's the important part. So
of course you were. If you and your wife if you were playing a game of solitaire and your wife was sitting across from you, you would be enjoying yourself and she would be hating her life. That's exactly what it is. Oh my god. Alright. Well, I don't think there's much else to be said about that other than this card is super strong. And like he said, I see it being a 3 of Craven and a 3 of Milk in every Night's Watch deck, because why wouldn't you?
Yeah. There's no reason not to. Like I said, there's so many cards that their purpose is attacking. If they can't attack, they're worthless. Mm-hmm. I think this makes Banner of the Watch worth it all by itself.
Yeah.
You get this, and then you get Ranging Parties and Benjen, 2 just like they're also just rock solid cards. And then in addition, you get Aemon if you want to just negate military claim. He can just save himself each round for military claim. Then you can get Veteran Builders if you have good locations that you want to stand, or you can get like Old Bear's Raven if you just want to throw stealth around. I mean, it's going to be a really good banner.
Mm-hmm. I totally
and this
agree
just
with you.
it's so much better.
I might just have to play some Greyjoy Banner of the
Greyjoy,
Watch.
Banner of the Watch.
That way, when I go all in on my first turn as first player, I'm not worried about what they're going to come back with because all their guys are too sissy to attack Asher Greyjoy. It's going to be hilarious.
It could work out too. So you should. I mean, you should give it a try.
I just might. Maybe
We know
that
how
over Banner of the Wolf.
Whatever you want.
The flavor text on it, oh, I thought it was better than it is. Whatever. So we've got the next card, moving into Baratheon, Maester Pylos, who there's really nothing to say about him. He's just exactly the same as Maester Wendemir, except he has 1 more strength. So he's a 3-cost, power icon, non-loyal, 3 strength, and stealth. He's a Maester, so we know that eventually they're going to have a lot of new Maester attachments and things to center your decks around Maesters. At that point, Maester Pylos will probably get, I think, pretty scary. But then you got to remember that he is first snowable, although he is unique, so they can just dupe him to avoid that. But I think there's going to be a bit of time still before we got to worry about this card.
How many Maester Wendemirs do you run?
I dropped out to 0 for a while, and then for GenCon I threw in 1.
I think that's what Master Palace is going to be.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be 1x. And like you said, nothing much to say about him. He's sporting the worst cost slot in the entire game, though. So
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah.
If he were 2 for 2, I'd like him more.
I agree.
If he were just a carbon copy of Maester Wendemir, I'd like him more.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the next card, I assume you're done talking about this card.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing to say about it. It's just completely random, 2 or 3 out of 5. Just completely normal. Okay. The Stone Drum. It's a 0-cost, unique, loyal Baratheon location with a keyword Dragonstone, which means nothing right now.
Mm-hmm.
While there's a Kingdom Plot card revealed, increase the gold value on your revealed plot card by 1.
Standard.
Okay. Yeah, I mean you'll run 1, maybe 2 of them in a deck. Obviously, if you're not running Kingdom Plots, you won't.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, there's a lot of good Kingdom Plots out there, right? So let's see here. It's like Noble Cause, Building Orders, Calling the Banners,
Pentoshi.
Counting. Yeah, trading with the Patoshi, Summons, Counting Coppers. All cards that you're gonna run these cards in Baratheon. At least a couple of them. Noble Cause and Summons certainly.
Mm-hmm.
So it's basically a non-limited Rose Road that'll work about half the time. It is nice. It works off of a Kingdom Plot, so if your opponent reveals a Kingdom Plot, you get it too.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get 2; you just get 1 more.
Just 1.
But yeah, it's economy.
And I guess it kind of helps with naval. You get that 1 extra gold.
I'm not sure. Revealed plot. Increase the gold value on your revealed plot card by 1. Doesn't
Oh wait, never
Naval
mind.
say treat your
Yeah.
plot card like it's 0?
Yeah.
So it'd go up by 1, then go back down to 0.
I didn't even read this text. I thought it just gave you a gold. It just increases the value. That kind of sucks.
Let me just check the wording on Naval real quick.
Pretty sure it's treat the income value as 0.
Yeah, treat the base gold value on each revealed.
Okay, so you
as
still
if
get the
it's
1.
So you get the 1.
Okay.
Good for you. You got 1 gold on them.
So how many Kingdom Plots do you think you need in your plot deck for this card to be something that you would insert into your deck?
3, 4. Yeah.
Okay. That's fair.
And you'd run 1, maybe 2.
Mm-hmm.
But like getting a second copy of this card would just piss you off.
Yeah, for sure.
You have it out and then you draw it and you're like, shit. Should reduce this to 1x.
Yeah, you're right.
Now for a non-loyal, that'd be fine, but no, it's loyal. So, duping your Stone Drum, nobody's gonna try to destroy your Stone Drum. Everyone's like, oh, sure, go for it.
Yeah,
Have at it.
Take your $1.
Yep.
So next we go into Lannister. We've got Shay. She is a 3-cost intrigue and power icon with 2 strength. She's obviously unique and a non-loyal Lannister because of her job. She's an ally and a companion. Challenges action. Pay 1 gold to stand Shay. Limit twice per phase, which is kind of cute because we know that her hubby, Tyrion, gets 2 gold off of an intrigue icon. So now he's able to stand her twice off of 1 intrigue. Do you really need this card in your deck as a Lannister player? I say one copy, yes, maybe, because we know that Lannister is very light on power icons. However, I don't think it's like an auto insert or anything like that. Joe might think differently.
It's a 3 cost, worst cost slot in the game.
Mm-hmm.
It's only 2 strength, so you don't even get at cost strength. You get the standard, but who fucking cares?
Yeah, exactly.
You're standing a bad character. You know, if you have nothing else to do with your gold, sure, but why?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a 1x. It's good in Night's Watch Lion, because it's just a defender for 2 challenges, but
I just always see the Lannister power icon struggle. That's usually my window as a Greyjoy player on how to take them out. If I can't kill their important characters fast enough, I just go all in on the power challenges and try to whittle away at them like that.
Yeah, but this is 2 strength. I mean, is 2 strength making a difference?
Hey, it could. You never know. You never know.
Alright, well, I'll take your word.
She's pretty trash. I don't know. I'm not going to lie. You got the next one.
Okay. The Boy King. It's a unique, non-loyal Lannister attachment for 1 gold. Its title, Lord character only. Attached character gains the King trait. Reaction: after a character with printed cost 3 or lower is killed, kneel the Boy King to have attached character gain 1 power.
Yeah.
I mean,
Nah.
it's alright. The best use for it is going to be like, oh, this is my Boy King Tywin. Or my Boy King Jaime. My Boy King Tyrion. You're not going to run this on frickin' you're not running this on Joffrey.
No.
So it's not even going to be fulfilling the trait that it's supposed to be fulfilling. Mm-hmm. So it's basically an additional renown. When you win a military challenge, they're going to kill a cost 3 or lower character, most likely, and then you get a power. You lose a military challenge, you kill a cost 3 or lower character, most likely, you get a power. Woo!
Yeah, I say it's going to be put on the mountain. This is my Boy King, Sir Grigor. The biggest guy in freaking Westeros. He's obviously going to be killing characters that cost 3 or lower. So here's some free power on top of your renown, bro.
Yeah, Valor can't get here soon enough.
Oh yeah.
Get all this stupid power. At GenCon, I lost my first game. Can you guess how much power the guy had on his house?
I'm gonna guess like 4.
It was 3.
3. Dang, I was close.
Yeah, Jaime, Tywin, and the Mountain were just like, hey, renown. It's just like, can I get Valor?
Yep.
Wipe 10 power off the board, please.
Renown
That's
pound.
just gonna, yeah, renowned pound is the way to go with Lannister.
Always.
So I can't wait for Valor Morghulis. Just wipe all this stupid power off the board. An actual reset, because I have power on my house.
Mm-hmm.
These renowned people, yes, they can go on. All right.
All
now
right.
your favorite cards of the deck.
Yes, we are into the Greyjoy cards. Best card ever. I can't say enough about this guy. Balon Greyjoy. So good. Yes. 7 cost. Military icon. Power icon. The big 5 strength for 7 is awesome. Always. You look at Tywin, and Tywin only has 1 more strength for the same cost, and a million other better abilities. He is loyal, so you can get him in on fealty for 6. Ironborn, he's a king and a lord, so you can noble cause him out for 5, 4 with fealty, and maybe some reducers, you get him out even cheaper because he's that good. He has renown. Balon Greyjoy does not kneel when declared as an attacker in a military challenge against an opponent who does not control a king character. Now, that's important because they just have to have a king on their board, not participating. So you put a Boy King anywhere on your board, and now Balon's trash. He's kneeling. He also has this sweet ability here. So action: kneel a Greyjoy location to give each loyal character you control +1 strength until the end of the challenge, not till the end of the phase. Which is also just unbelievable. Now, if you think about this ability here, yes, you can kneel a Greyjoy location. So I can kneel Seastone Chair, for example, which is a useless card, doesn't really need to kneel for anything. And now all of my loyal guys get +1. Now, who would be the one character that you want to give +1 to? The 6 cost Balon. However, because you have this 7 cost Balon on the board, you can't give strength to the 6 cost Balon to make him better. So I mean, yeah, you can give it to like Euron or someone that doesn't have stealth or an amazing ability, and it's really not going to matter all that much. However, I guess this guy is better with Victarion, who was spoiled in the draft packs because Victarion has Intimidate. So maybe you can help pop off your Intimidate a little bit better with a guy like that.
Is Victarion loyal?
He is non-loyal, I believe.
He's not loyal.
I'm almost positive. Oh yeah, so you can't even do that for him. Yeah, true. I'm pretty sure he's non-loyal. I'm like almost positive he's non-loyal. So never mind. Let's just scratch that. So this card, it's not gonna work on Asha. It's not gonna work on Theon.
He's non-loyal. Yeah.
It's gonna work on Euron and is Fish Whiskers? Probably not Fish Whiskers. I can't even think of another freaking good loyal character. I mean, you can bust it on Alanis. I think she's loyal.
I don't think she is.
She's not? Oh my god. So we're missing a lot of targets here for this Balon who
your loyal characters. All right, brace yourself.
God.
6 cost Balon.
Yep.
Euron.
Yep.
The Reader.
Oh, nice.
And Dagmar Cleftjaw.
Dagmar, the other best 7 in the game. So now we've got 3 7s. One is good. Euron's good. The other 2 are just garbage. What the hell? What am I doing with this card? This card, I mean, I hope something happens in the game that makes me have to eat my hat. But this card is trash. I was so excited about it when I saw it in the little catalog thing, and we couldn't see his text, and everyone was trying to speculate, like, what could it be? What could be better than 6 cost Balon? And nothing.
No, they didn't even try.
They
didn't even try.
So that's all I have to say about that card. Maybe you have some nice use for it, Joe. I don't know.
It'll depend on what the kings do. I mean, if having a king becomes important, this is a okay card. Like, okay, so it would have to be pretty big to make you run this over core Balon.
Yeah.
It would have to be like some attachment or some character or location or agenda that says for every turn you have a king character gain a power or something like this, like something that actually leads to winning the game. Mm-hmm. Since there's nothing like that and we have no spoilers of anything like that, this is a bad card, and I don't see it ever being played over core Balon until Greyjoy gets a win condition that isn't just unopposed.
Yeah.
If somehow they get something, and I don't even know what it would be because this guy doesn't even really have that much discernible value in any particular deck type. But if for some reason you're not running core Balon, this guy becomes a middling character. Right now he's trash.
Oh, well, I know the new Greyjoy win condition, and I've realized what it was after Dagmar came out, and it was pretty much just to make your opponent laugh until they make stupid decisions and give you a window for victory, because you do this 7-drop of Dagmar, and he wins a challenge by himself, and then you get to take a location, a non-limited one, which is like
of 3 or less.
3 or less, which is comparable to Miri, who wins by herself and kills a character of her choice. So it's pretty comparable, right? Like
I can kill your Tywin, or I can have your Lannisport.
It's pretty comparable. I mean, there's a lot of parity there. I like it. I like where you're going with this FFG. This is awesome. All right, so moving on to the next card, which also makes me upset, but I guess it has some uses.
Let's see.
Ours is the old way. Oh my god. So, I believe this is the most expensive event currently in the game, with 4 cost. Challenges action until the end of the phase. Either, not both, which pisses me off. Either each Greyjoy character you control gains stealth, or each non-Greyjoy character loses stealth. Now, would I ever hug 4 gold just for this? Probably not. Because as a Greyjoy player, everybody knows that the majority, I like to play Clash of Kings for my game-ending plot, but a lot of people are on the idea that Rise of the Kraken should be the one that you play. Not Rise of the Kraken. What's it called again? Is it Rise of the Kraken?
I think it's Rise of the Kraken.
Rise of the Kraken, yeah. Rise of the Kraken is the one that you should play because you get the 2 claim plus you get 2 for unopposed, blah, blah, blah. Now, the thing that's interesting about that is you cannot play this event, or you likely will not be able to play this event and Rise of the Kraken in the same turn, which is when you would really need this event to pop off. The reason is Rise is only 2 gold. This costs 4. So you're praying to God that you have a Littlefinger out or some Rose Roads to be able to afford this damn card anyways.
Or Tourney Grounds, right?
Or fuck. Oh god. Or Tourney Grounds, yes, Joe. You dink. Yeah, so now initially I thought that this card said until the end of the phase, and I didn't read either because I was so excited I just jumped over it. So until the end of the phase, each Greyjoy character you control gains stealth, and all non-Greyjoy characters lose it. So I was like, okay, sweet. So now my whole board's gonna have stealth, his whole board's gonna lose stealth, and I can push this last challenge hopefully for the win. No, because I got to choose one, and I guess you're gonna choose, and I guess you'll choose the one that takes stealth from them.
Most likely.
Most likely, but like at the same time, this just costs too much. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
You never run more than one of these if you ever ran it because it's so expensive. Greyjoy already has issues with economy. Everybody that's not Lannister or Tyrell has issues with economy. So who the hell is banking 4 gold for this? And your opponent's gonna watch you and be like, "Oh, you're saving 4? Okay."
Yeah. Yeah.
Well then, that's interesting. What could you possibly do with 4 gold right now? Maybe a put to the sword, I guess.
They're like, there's no way you're running ours is the old. They're running ours is the old way. Wow.
And then they laugh and then make a mistake, and that is your window.
I'm not going to take credit for this comment. I forget who said it or where I heard it. But one funny thing I read about this card, or heard about it, I'm not sure which. It's called Ours is the Old Way. That's what the old way is, the iron price, right?
Yeah.
Is that right? So you're paying 4 gold.
Yeah.
It's Balon made fun of Theon for buying his clothes, and then you're buying this stupid fucking event for 4 gold. It's stupid. I mean,
Oh man.
like you said, Rise of the Kraken is the best time to play it. You're gonna have 2 gold. You need Rose Roads, Tourney Grounds, Littlefinger, maybe Tyrion if you're running Night's Watch Lion for some reason, or no, sorry, Greyjoy Lion for some reason. Don't play this card, guys. I mean, it's so bad.
And if it was loyal, then fine, you could fealty it. But like, the thing that kind of scares me with this is that, let's say, people who are running Lanny Kraken, for example, they can definitely afford this with Tyrion. So they throw this into a Lanny Kraken now, and they strip stealth from your side of the board, or whatever they choose to do, and then that helps them push through a put to the sword or push through whatever the hell they need to push through. So it's a card that they release that Greyjoy players aren't going to be able to take advantage of, but lo and behold, the strongest house currently in the game can definitely use this because they have the ability to gain that money during challenges. Now, going back to the old way comment, I thought this card would be better suited thematically if you were taking your opponent's gold, such as a loot, to pay for the card. Because that's what Greyjoy does. But no, we just get 2 cards that suck. But hey, I've already spent enough time ranting and raving about that, so we can just move forward. You've got the next the next Targaryen card. I'm heated right now.
So we go from that to a card that's actually useful.
Yeah.
Dorea.
Yeah, I think it's Dorea.
2 cost loyal, unique character for Targaryen. Intrigue and power icons, 2 strength, companion keyword. During a challenge in which you control a participating lord or lady character, Dorea gains insight. So this is just a good card. I mean, card draw is going to be even more important with Valor Morghulis coming out in a couple of packs because you're going to want to have a handful of cards to refill your board. Mm-hmm. Insight is an excellent keyword. I think it's been undervalued a little bit in 2.0 because, first of all, you have reserve compared to 1.0, which makes it so that card draw isn't as good. But with Valor coming back, having cards in your hand is going to be fantastic for you. The last thing someone wants to do is be top decking, and then Valor comes out. They top decked 2 locations, and then they have no characters, and then they're completely fucked. Mm-hmm. This card it's a little conditional because she needs to be attacking with a lord or a lady, But I mean, you got Dany, you got Drogo, you got Illyrio,
Illyrio.
and then if you have a banner, you can get like say Lion banner. You can get Jaime, Tyrion, Mountain,
Mhm.
or if you're Greyjoy, you can get Asha, Theon, Aeron, newly made Lord, Alanis. I mean, you're gonna have lords and ladies at your disposal for this person to attack with. So it's 2 cost for 2 strength. At cost strength, 2 cost is one of the better. If you're gonna be below 3, 2 is a good place to be, and it's loyal, so you can even get up for 1. Insight's good.
Yep, I totally agree with you on all counts. And the 2 for 2 makes it a lot more bearable to lose it to First Snow. As you were saying, it's a pretty good price point.
Yeah.
And I mean, most Targ decks really, really get behind their lords and ladies, Drogo and Dany. So she will definitely see use and get you that card draw.
Yeah. So, just a good card. Card draw is good.
Mm-hmm.
Your card next.
Yep, we've got the Beggar King. Sorry, gotta do my visual cue.
Are you gonna call out each of your visual cues?
Yes.
Okay. Just want to check.
It's a 1 cost attachment that is loyal to Targaryen. It has the title trait Targaryen character only. Attached character gains the King trait, which neutralizes 7 cost Balon. Makes him trash. Awesome. Reaction. After an opponent reveals a plot card with a higher printed gold value than yours, kneel Beggar King to gain 1 gold. 2 gold instead if no opponent controls a king character. Yeah, whatever. I mean, cool, but is it gonna really do that much for Targ players? I think Targ players are mostly worried about draw as it is. The 1 plus 1 gold or plus 2 if they don't have a king. Is it taking it from them? It's taking it from them.
No.
Oh, you just gain 1. Sorry. Okay.
Just get gold.
I still don't think that it's something that is absolutely essential or necessary for Target right now. Like I was saying before, their main issue is that they didn't have as much draw as the other houses, and now that they've got that nice, pretty lady that gives insight, I definitely think that the Doria is the Targ card that's going to see play in this cycle over Beggar King, unless Kings start running rampant with these new cards that are coming out, and like everybody's playing 7 cost Balin, and you need a way to neutralize him.
If everyone's playing him.
Yeah, just pay 1 gold and he's trash, so you're good to go.
Yeah. It's fine. Like you said, if King becomes important, you'll start playing it. But, okay, so after an opponent reveals a plot card with printed gold value higher than yours. So you're going to get the gold on your Counting Copper's turn. You're going to get the gold on your Blood of the Dragon turn. Everything else is a toss-up, right?
Yeah.
I mean, 4 to 5 gold is the average amount that you're going to have on your standard plots. So is your opponent. So you'd get it on Summer Harvest too, I guess, because X counts as 0.
Yeah.
So you should get it a fair amount, I suppose. 1 extra gold, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Just like Stone Drum, it's okay from me.
Yeah.
If my opponent plays, I was like, oh, good for you. Get a little bit more gold.
Yeah, good job, man. I'm not going to confiscate that. Keep it.
Go on with your bad self. All right.
Martell.
Okay. Starfall Cavalry, or as Rob says, Calvary.
Hey, Rob. Love you, buddy.
It's a 6 gold. Non-unique, loyal Martell character, military and intrigue, 4 strength, army and House Dane traits, no attachments except weapon, which is fantastic. I love that. Mm-hmm. Reaction: after Starfall Cavalry enters play, draw 1 card. 3 cards instead if there are 3 or more plot cards in your used pile.
Mm-hmm. I
like it. This is what I call the Arion tax.
Mm-hmm.
And Martell, as you guys may have noticed, Martell is getting a ton of 6 cost characters, and the reason for that, in my opinion, is, and I haven't verified this, but it has to be the design strategy, is if it were 5 cost, Arion could get out for free, and FFG doesn't want that
Yeah.
because then it would be a little too strong. So they made it 6 so that you can't. That they've done that with a bunch of characters. So it's military intrigue. That's a good bicon. Interesting that an army has an intrigue icon. I don't know how intriguing that army is, but it must be pretty intriguing. And then you get 3 cards if it's 3 or more plot cards in your use pile. Solid card, fits into what Martell's already trying to do, which is ramp up at the end game, and it's house stained, so Dawn Trigger.
Yep. And it can be used with the next card. I think you pretty much hit everything there on the Starfall Cavalry. I like them. Even with the 6 cost, I still like them. The interplay. The thing with this is you drop all 6 gold, and I know some people don't like doing that, spending their entire income on one character, but you drop all 6 gold and you're seeing a card right away. If you drop this later on in the game, when 6 gold doesn't hurt you as much, then you're drawing 3 cards. And of those 3 cards, you're probably going to draw into like your confinements and your other annoying Martell cards that everybody dreads. So
all the attachment cards.
All those annoying attachments. So, I mean, you drop him, you draw 3, find your attachments, and then throw those down in the same turn. Because I think you will have enough income to do it later on in the game.
Especially with a King's Road.
Especially with a King's Road. And that makes this card a very, very high utility card. Not only that, but then once he's on the board, he starts bodying your opponent. They charge in on their horses, and then they stop to ask you questions because they're doing the whole intrigue thing versus just, the military. So I think they're a very good card. And so is this next one. I love it. I don't really play Martell, but I love it. 3 cost attachment. Boom. It is loyal to Martell. Sad face. Martell character you control only. I like how they say that. A Martell character you control only, because Martell is so used to just throwing stuff on your side of the board. The ambush cost is 3. Attached character gets +1 strength. Reaction: after Venomous Blade enters play, place a poison token. Notice that you're placing it. That's also important.
You're not choosing anybody.
You're not choosing anyone. You're just placing it out on the board. You're not choosing where you're placing that, but whatever. After Venomous Blade enters play, place a poison token on a character with printed strength 2 or lower. At the end of the phase, if that character still has that poison token, remove it and kill that character. So, what's Aemon's strength? Just off top.
2.
A 2. So you throw this in, you drop it on Aemon, and you make Joe sweat a little bit. He's like, man, do I save Aemon? Do I keep Aemon to save Aemon? Or do I kneel Aemon on some military claim? And I'm okay because Aemon has 3 copies of out on the table right now. So I think that it puts pressure that way. Some people are probably like, well, it's a character with 2 strength or lower. Those guys are all weenies. Like, who cares? But the thing you got to remember is you're taking out a weenie, and that's going to force them to now have to choose a bigger character as claim. That being said, you're going to want to make sure that you ambush this in after you do a military challenge, I would think. Because if you do this first, put the token on, let's say, a weenie character, then you do a military challenge, they're just going to claim the guy that you put the poison token on. So you kind of want to give them more decisions so that it's more opportunity for them to mess up the choice, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's what you do with Tiers of List, too. I've seen games where people will do an intrigue, Tiers of List, and then do military. It's like, oh yeah, I'll just kill the guy that's going to die anyway. And they're like, wrong order. Wrong order challenges. So, it's, but in addition, you can play this in marshalling, and then they die at the end of the marshalling phase, right?
Right.
At the end of the phase. Yeah, so you can pay 3, put this card out, kill their reducer or whatever they have, and then during the challenges phase, your military challenge will be meaningful. Or if you put it on and something else someone pointed out to me when this card was first revealed, I thought it was like, man, 3 gold for 1 kill, that's not that great. But then someone said, like, it's not terminal, so put on a weenie, put on the bastard daughter, right? And then they have a choice. They can either do a military challenge, lose a card, and get this back into your hand, or they can just skip the military for the rest of the game. And then in addition, if you wanted this card back, you'd Wildfire, kill your bastard daughter, or March, discard your bastard daughter, get it back, do it again. It could, depending on what your opponent does, you're like you said, you're putting your opponent in a situation where they have to make a decision, and the more decisions your opponent has to make, the more opportunities they have to make the wrong decision.
Right.
And cards that do that are generally good cards, and this is another one.
And this is also not unique.
Oh my God, you're right.
So drop 2 of those in one turn, kill 2 weenies, and then now they're forced to kill Fast Eddie because he's the only one left.
I didn't realize that it was not. Jesus Christ. Yeah, this card's good. It's really good.
Awesome. It is awesome. So that rounds out the characters, attachments, events, whatever. And now we're into the juicy stuff, the spicy stuff, as Rob says. We have got. Oh wait, I think I just did the Venomous Blade, right? Yeah, I did. So you're on this, the first agenda.
Do you want to just go to the plots first and then do the agendas, or do you want to just do the agendas now?
Might as well do the agendas first. The plots.
See what I did there? I made you make a decision.
The right one.
We'll find out. All right, Kings of Summer. It's an agenda summer trait. You cannot include winter plot cards in your plot deck. Increase the reserve value on each player's revealed plot card by 1. While there are no winter plot cards revealed, increase the gold value on your revealed summer plot card by 1. It's all right. It's economy. Economy's good. We've been talking about it this chapter pack. You know, with the Beggar King, with Stone Drum, getting an extra gold is nice. It doesn't really make a new deck though. You know what I mean? This is going to replace Fealty in most cases. If you're going to run it. If you're running summer plots, this replaces Fealty. I personally am going to love seeing Kings of Summer sitting across from me, because it's like, oh yeah, before this game even starts, I don't have to worry about First Snow of Winter, so I can just play the game. Yep. So I'm excited for that. But you know, it's a replacement for Fealty. That's all I have to say about it. What do you think?
I definitely agree with that as well. Initially, I was thinking about doing the whole Greyjoy Kings of Summer thing for that reason, because you're hopefully getting that +1 gold all the time. So it's kind of like, as you said, you are playing Fealty, except you're able to spend that now at 1 additional resource on anything, not just loyal cards. However, at the same time, I don't like that whole idea where, as you said, the game starts and my opponent's like, thank God I don't have to worry about First Snow. Let me just spit out all these low-cost characters so that I can avoid that unopposed. So that kind of shuts down the whole Greyjoy mentality there. However, that +1 gold can help you pay for 7-cost Balon, and maybe you can. And I'm being serious here. Maybe that +1 gold helps you pay for the 7-cost Balon, and you're able to, now create this new type of Greyjoy that isn't so focused on the unopposed. But realistically, I don't think that that's something that's very viable right now. I think also with Winterfell being out, that's going to deter some people from playing the Kings of Summer, not being able to have a winter plot on a crucial turn where you really want to pop an effect off. That's usually when people just throw down whatever winter plot they had and like, haha, try to Winterfell me now type of thing. So again, that kind of pulls you away from that whole idea. So you're going to hope that you have another way to either blank a location or nightmares a location consistently or something like that to get rid of Winterfell on those turns. But I mean, I guess it's cool. I would definitely think that the Kings of Winter is going to see more play than Kings of Summer. Yeah. And that's really all I got to say about that one.
The benefits don't really seem to line up. Yeah. It seems average at best. And
so even like going back to the argument we said about trying to increase your opponent's decisions so that they make the wrong one, I think that giving them that additional reserve too is, although in the same light it would be giving them more decisions to make the wrong one, I think that when you look at Kings of Winter and reducing that reserve that they have, now they might make the wrong decision in terms of which card they throw away to meet their reserve value. So I just think all around the Kings of Winter is the better the better agenda to play currently.
I agree. I completely agree. So why don't we read that one then?
Yes, so we've got the Kings of Winter here. I love the art on this. It looks sweet to me. Excuse me. You cannot include summer plot cards in your plot deck. Reduce the reserve value on each player's revealed plot card by 1. While you have a winter plot card revealed, reduce the gold value on each opponent's non-summer plot card by 1. So again, they automatically lose that 1 reserve. So they're worried about which cards you're going to keep in their hand, especially those draw-heavy decks, draw-heavy houses, where they just seem to always have a full mid of cards. Now they got to worry about which ones they're tossing down to meet reserve. Not only that, but if they play a plot card that's not summer, they're automatically losing 1 of their income. So that's, again, limiting their decisions twofold. The decisions about which cards they can keep in their hand, and now which cards they can actually afford to play. Not only that, but they know that first snow is coming as well. So they got a lot of stuff to worry about when they see this agenda drop down across the table.
Yeah, and like I was saying about the summer Kings of Summer, it doesn't make a new deck. It just kind of replaces the fealty. This agenda makes new decks.
Yep.
This makes choke decks, and that I think is going to become really big in the next cycle, in this coming cycle, and onward. You're already starting to see it with Night's Watch Lion. At GenCon, Night's Watch Lion made I think 2 people made the cut with it. Sam Bratz, who was the world champion, and God, I think it was Darknage from his podcast, the Beyond the Wall.
From Ottawa.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I think he was playing that Switch Line. He'd have to confirm it, but I think he was. And the whole idea was, White Tree steals gold, meager contribution steals gold, and then this card will pair wonderfully with those 2 cards. First of all, you reduce their reserve value by 1, like you said, but then if they're not playing summer plots, which there aren't a ton of great ones right now, it reduces their gold again by 1 more. So if you're running this, for example, for instance, turn 1, I can play Wraiths in their Midst. It reduces their reserve by 2, and then this card, if they don't have and then this card, it reduces it by 1 more, so they are reducing by 3, and then they get 1 less gold if they're not playing a summer plot. So a really popular opening plot right now is Trading with the Potoshi. This makes Trading with the Potoshi a 9 gold, 2 reserve plot. Good luck. I mean, and then say I have White Tree out or meager contribution, I steal another gold, so now I have 8 gold, and you have to get down to 2 cards. That's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to this card. So I think that Choke is going to be coming strong with this card. I'm excited for it, especially since it's Night's Watch.
Yep.
It's going to be doing the most of it.
I definitely agree with you, and I like that it's going to force me, not to play summer cards. Obviously, you're going to be putting in a lot of winter cards, and we know that a lot of great winter cards got released recently. And so this kind of, not that it's going to make start players like shaking their boots or anything, but now it's going to make them have to consider how many copies of Winterfell do I really put in my deck? Am I really going to pay the 4 for Winterfell, knowing that chances are it's not going to pop off, type of thing. So it kind of makes it a little bit more difficult for Stark fealty to just run rampant and pop off ice and put to the swords and all those fantastic things that they were doing, because you weren't able to trigger any effects. So I definitely think that this is the one that's going to see more play. It'll be interesting in the Kings of Winter mirror matches to see who can choke each other the fastest. But I think definitely the scariest deck so far that I can conceive is the Night's Watch Choke, because as you said, the White Tree, the meager contributions, and this, not only are you losing 1 gold, just losing it, you're then giving 2 to your Night's Watch opponent. So that gold swing is massive, and it's just going to get them to be able to play their pieces out so much quicker, get the wall out, and not even feel the economy hit for paying for the wall. So I just think overall this is going to be great, and this is one that I'm most excited to play. I will try out some summer stuff, but I'm just expecting the worst with those summer decks, because I think right now, especially for my style of play, where I like to be kind of aggro, I think losing first snow is going to make Thrones a little difficult for me.
Yeah, Kings of Summer, you're sacrificing a lot for 1 gold.
Yeah.
And one reserve. We didn't even talk about the reserve because
Who
okay,
cares? Because
yeah,
who cares?
I can I maybe am over my reserve one time per game,
Mhm.
and that's if I see all my ravens.
Yeah.
So reserve is, I mean, uh, in future spoilers like Night Gathers, it made a reference to reserve value. The Night's Watch event that you can play cards from your opponent's discard pile if you have more reserve than them. That's interesting with Kings of Summer. If more things like that occur, a Night's Watch Summer deck could be interesting. But right now, it's all winter.
Yeah.
The summer plots don't even hold a candle to the winter plots.
Yeah, I totally agree. Reserve is kind of just whatever. Like, I think to the times that I've played Night's Watch and I drop Sam on the table, I'm like, oh wait, +1 reserve, and I look at my hand, I'm like, I'm under anyways. Like, who cares? So I don't think it's gonna really do anything in terms of messing with your opponent. That +1 gold that you're getting. Again, I might end up eating my words when Lannister players bust out Summer and have even more gold, but that's kind of redundant at that point.
They already have so much freaking gold. I don't know if it's gonna matter.
Exactly. So
It's gotten to the point where I don't even care if I play trading against, especially with Tywin or against Lannister. It's like they're gonna have as much gold as they want anyway. It doesn't even matter.
Exactly. Just like, yeah, whatever. Here's have some more. Hope
Have some more. Oh, you're gonna end with 3 gold for dominance. Oh well.
All right, so we've got 2 cards left. These are just the new plots that came out. One for each of the seasons. Again, I think the winter one's the better version, but I think this is this you? Or is it me? Who cares?
Yeah,
Whatever.
yeah, I'll go for it. Okay. Summer Harvest. Summer plot. It has X gold, 4 initiative, 1 claim, and 6 reserve. When revealed, choose an opponent. X is higher than the printed gold value on that. Is 2 higher than the printed gold value on that player's revealed plot card. I like it. It has good initiative. It's a good opening plot. At least right now. In the future, when everyone's opening Summer Harvest, people will stop doing it because they're just like, oh, I get 2 gold on turn 1, and so you, because like I said, X is 0. So when both people reveal Summer Harvest, it's going to be you treat each other's plot like it's 0, and then you get 2 higher than that, so you each get 2 gold. So I think Summer Harvest is going to be a good opening play for like a month, maybe 2 weeks, before everyone adjusts and stops doing that. But if you do hit trading with them, Toshi, you get 15 gold. 10 from their plot, plus 2 from this, and then 3 from them giving it to you. So you get 15 gold off of this, which would be fantastic. And then you have 4 initiative, which is great too. It's a good plot. It'll probably average you 5 to 6 gold on the average turn you play it, which isn't bad. Cool.
Yeah, I think the same thing. In Toronto, a lot of people still open with Noble or with Summons sometimes. So that's 7 for Noble, which means you're getting the exact same thing as them, essentially. And if they open with a Summons, then it's 6 gold. So you're still doing pretty damn well for yourself. And you still have your Noble cards or your Summons in your back pocket as well. So great economy card. When you think about it, matching up with the Kings of Summer, I guess you get 2 gold plus the additional 1, maybe.
If they didn't play a winter.
If they didn't play a winter plot. So there's a little bit of synergy there, but not really anything game breaking. Like that +1 isn't really going to change things too much for you.
No.
So again,
I will say it's okay in melee because you get to choose the opponent. So if you go in melee and one person does naval and one person does trading and then one person does noble cause, you're like, oh, I'll choose the trading.
Yep.
And then but in joust it's kind of risky because you don't know what they're gonna do. So you could end up getting 4 gold out of it or 5 gold out of it. Which if this is one of your economy cards, and in 2.0, some people are just building plots with 7 economy cards in them. But for those of us who still want abilities on their plots, I run 2 to 3 economy cards, and if this is one of my economy cards, I'm gonna be disappointed if it gets me lower than 6.
Yep. And finally, the last card in the pack, excuse me, is the Winter Festival. 5 gold, 2 initiative, and 1 claim. It's obviously winter traded because it's a winter festival. This card, again, if Night's Watch can fit this in their plot deck, if they could fit 2 copies of this in their plot deck even, it's just going to be craziness. When the challenges phase ends, if there are no summer plot cards revealed, gain 2 power for your faction. So, just in a perfect world, you're playing an opponent who didn't run a summer plot that turn, sorry. You got your Voltron Old Bear just there, just tanking everything. His mental fortitude's so strong, he doesn't care about intrigue, and he's blocking the power, and he's like fighting off an entire army with his practice blade. just one practice blade, just fencing with everybody, doesn't care. So then your wall pops off for 2, and then you get this pop off for an additional 2. That's 4 power in a turn, just for nothing. Well, I guess he technically did something, but really he did nothing. And if you screwed up enough in your attacks and you let the Night's Watch player get an unopposed challenge off, let's say, because it does happen a lot, and they get an unopposed power challenge, that's a 6 power swing, like right away off of this. And then imagine in a perfect world they're able to fit 2 of these into their plot deck, and they did that to you twice. That's game. Like if it's plot 3 and 4 or whatever, that's freaking game. You're done. Like game's over. The tournament just started. This is round 1, and they just announced 40 minutes left, guys, and your game's finished because because Old Bear is just godlike. Like this card, I think, is sweet. Not only for Night's Watch, like if you put this in Stark, and it makes Old Nan useful because Old Nan can strip that summer away from their plot card, I believe.
Does she strip it?
Does she strip it, or does she just add one? I can't remember what it is.
Let me check here.
If she just adds it, then never mind.
When a plot card is revealed, kneel Old Nan to have the plot card gain summer.
Oh, it just gains it.
Yeah.
Okay, so never mind. So this really does hinge on the whole, I really hope my opponent doesn't play summer, but even still, if they don't play a summer plot, you're still getting 5 gold off of it. But I just think it's scary in Night's Watch because you play the Winter Festival and you play Feast for Crows and you have a wall and you're just like, now I'm gonna sit back. You attack me with whatever you want. I don't care. Just attack. Try to attack me, and I'm gonna win dominance. Boom. And then I'm gonna win the festival. Boom. And wall both those turns. Boom, boom. And that's what 2, 4, 6. Is that 8 power? Wall twice. 8 power. Yeah. Just for chilling out.
Yep.
And then, I mean, if he had Long Claw on him and he has the Renown, then, like, good GG. Just pack up your cards and go home.
Yeah, when this card was first revealed, I was talking to my friend James, who's also a Night's Watch enthusiast. And he was talking about, 2 Winter Festivals, 1 Feast for Crows until the end of time, 6 power from my plots. Just go fuck yourself. I'm gonna sit here and do even less than I already was.
Yep.
So I now I'm sitting here and I'm not sure if I even have space for one of these in my Night's Watch deck just because my plots are doing so much work for me.
Mm-hmm.
But if I did, I'd be very happy with this card. 5 gold is good. 6 reserve is good. 2 initiative is better than a noble cause. So you could start on this card. Yeah, I mean it's fine. I like it. I think it's really good. The only caveat is the summer plots and unlike Summer Harvest, which gets better in melee, this gets worse in melee. Mm-hmm. Because now you have 3 times the chance of a summer plot being revealed rather than just 1. So I think it's good. I wouldn't say that it's game breaking or anything like that.
No.
It gives you an alternate route to winning while still having balance, and that it's countered by summer plots. I think it's good. I like it.
Yep. And also another thing to remember is that if you are playing Kings of Winter, your opponent is now also losing 1 gold. If you're doing it in the whole Night's Watch scenario that I just mentioned, I forgot to say that, this card flips over. Your opponent first says, "Hey, mega contribution, sir," and they take 1. And then like, "Oh, wait, I have this cool tree that just falls over and you lose gold, so give me that." So now you're working with less gold, and then you can't really stop them.
I just want to do a review of this scenario that you're putting out. I have the wall. I have Old Bear. I have Old Bear's Raven. I have I have the white tree. I have this plot out, and I have meager contribution. Is that what I have on the board?
That's pretty much it. You got it all. And you forgot Long Claw. Long Claw is on Old Bear too.
Claw and Old Bear, yeah, and some Chud just so I can get rid of it when I'm defending challenges. All right, so yeah, if I get that 15 card combo,
Hey, I've played you enough times, and I've seen all this crap come out on the board. Kenny is my witness because he played you 3 times, and he saw this all happen too. It's really not that unlikely. I really don't think it's that. Even if you only had 1 meager, or just the white tree, that's still 2 gold deficit. So like, either way, whatever deficit it is, it's an automatic 1, let's say. But if you can get that second one, then I hate you. And if you can get that third one, then we're just not friends anymore, and that's grounds for fighting. So like, either way, it's a good.
The next video in this channel will be me and him playing and him bitching the entire time. just watch.
Exactly. If I see that crap, I'm out. I quit. I'm done. I'm finished. Switching to Lannister banner of the freaking lion, and I'm going in on you.
I'm gonna play Lannister cards with Lannister cards. Cute.
Oh man. So yeah, that's every card in the pack. I had a lot of fun, Joe. Hopefully we can continue to do this in the future, providing that we can both find the time to do it, especially once I start going back to work and all those not fun things.
Not fun.
Who wants to go to work? What? Summer holidays forever.
You're enriching the lives of children.
I'm a king of summer, man. I need it all the time.
Oh man.
But yeah, so that was it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I think this is probably like an hour and 15, maybe an hour and 20, so not too long. And as always, if there's just a card that you care about, only 1 card, you're allowed to skip through. We won't be upset.
But you'll miss all the enjoyable counter talk and everything like that.
That is true. One thing also is that I'm going to be releasing this as a podcast, obviously. So that will be on the Throne Runner site. I don't know if you have a site yet, Joe.
wardensthemidwest.com.
There you go. So Joe's going to have a copy of it too. And then obviously the video will be up on Throne Runner. And also, I forgot, if you haven't yet done it, you have 2 days left to submit your name to win one of these sweet bad boy Jon Snows here that are never going to be played ever. And also that sexy Tyrell mat from Store Championship season that I'm giving away. And if you play Netrunner, then you can get a nice limited edition Wall of Static and some Chronos projects. So all you got to do is just drop a comment on the video, say, hey, what's going on? And then Game of Thrones or what's up, guys? Netrunner.
Is it this video?
Is it what?
Is it this video?
The draw?
Yeah, they comment on this video?
Oh yeah, this one. Yeah. This one or the last one? Either one. I can keep track. I'm good. I'm able to
I'm an adult.
It out. Whichever one you comment on, and then just make sure you don't try to do a double entry, because that's a jerk move. And these Canadians strongly believe in playing fair, so no double entries. But
if you find out that you're creating accounts just to comment on these videos,
I'll know, damn it. All right, guys, so that's it. Thanks again for watching and or listening if you're on the podcast. Joe, thank you for this idea and for also joining me and dealing with all the tech issues that we've had.
I'm used to them. You do it every single time we do something.
That's freaking right. We set up a Skype match and it takes 2 hours just to set up, and then we play a bunch. So
yeah, we start at 11 a.m. He's like, I'm doing something. It's like, oh, I figured you'd do that, before the 11 o'clock time.
Nah,
it's
man,
like, I start at 11.
I woke up
11 is when I start getting ready. It's like, okay. Then
all right. So that's it. Joe, do you got any last minute plugs that you want to do for your sites and articles or anything else?
Wardens of the Midwest is where I complain about this game in article format. We are taking a break from our podcast recently because of unavailability of the people, but hopefully we'll get that started again sometime soon. Probably when there's more to talk about the meta and about the cards themselves. But in the meantime, I'm still writing articles. So those are all at wardensofthemidwest.com. Other than that, I'm very active in the Facebook group and all that stuff, so I always talk to people. People know who I am, I think, so I think it's cool.
Yeah, he got a lot of recognition at GenCon. Carter's eyes like blew out of their sockets when he saw Joe. Just saying. And
Really?
as always, don't forget to check out Rob's gaming table. He's got footage from the North American Championship. I don't think he has the final, unfortunately, due to a whole bunch of technicalities there. But if you're interested in seeing some of those decks that we were talking about that made it pretty far into the tournament, then Rob's got those. I know he is at least up to the top 4 currently. So Rob's gaming table, check that out. Everybody have a fantastic day. I don't know what day you're gonna see this or whatever. So hopefully it was
Depends
enjoyable
on when
for
you
you.
post it.
I'm trying to post it tonight. This is Sunday before Usain Bolt wins the 100 meter for Jamaica. All right, guys, take care.
All right.
Peace.
Bye.